evening, everyone. Welcome to the Saugus Public Library. I'm Alan Tebow. I'm the director of your library. Tonight's session for Precinct 10 marks the end of basically a year of Saugus over coffee. I'd like first off to congratulate and thank Mark Vogler, the Saugus advocate, for his work and dedication of bringing this series to life. And I'd like to express my thanks as well to Saugus Community Access Television for producing, presenting, and airing these episodes on TV and on the internet. Attendance has been sometimes a little bit underwhelming here in the evenings, but putting it on TV, getting it out there allows you to reach a wider audience, so that's been a good thing. And just like to point out that Mark and Saugus Community Access TV do a great service to the town, and we should be grateful to them. I'd also like to thank the town meeting members who have, and town officials appointed and elected who have taken part in these sessions that we've held here over the last year or so. Your attendance here shows that you're dedicated to the people of the town and that you're trying to serve them well, and that's a good thing. Before I hand the podium over to Mark, I'd just like to, again, commend him for his vision and dedication in setting this up and making sure that this could happen. I think it's a great opportunity for people in the town to come together, and it allows us all to better govern and to serve the people of this community. So Mark, again, many thanks, and the podium is yours.
Thanks, Al. Hello, Saugus.
Hello.
Welcome to Saugus Over Coffee. This is the 10th and final in a series of citizen forums co-sponsored by the Saugus Public Library and the Saugus Advocate. Each one has had there's been an opportunity for people, residents, to come down, have coffee with their town meeting members. We have tonight, we have the 5 town meeting members from Precinct 10 and 2 challenges. We'll get to hear them a little bit later. But because of this is the only forum that falls in line with the town campaign season, I have to observe the fairness, and I've invited the 2 challenges to speak, and I'm also going to put like time limits on the questions. But first, we're going to hear from the residents of Precinct 10, and we'll hear then from the panel. And then if we have some more time, we have to clear the room at 7:45. If we have some more time, I'll allow other people who are here. We have two selectmen. We have actually 3 selectmen, and I'm going to allow Board of Selectmen Chair Anthony Cagliano to express his concerns. And can I have a show of hands? Anybody who wants to come up from Precinct 10 residents? Okay. All right, so we're going to do 2 minutes. Make your point. I'm going to be keeping score on the issues. First person that mentions wind waste, that's it. There's more issues in Precinct 10 than just wind waste. And we'll hear from Anthony Cagliano, lead off, Board of Selectmen Chair, Precinct 10 resident.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Best of luck to the candidates that are running. I guess my question would be, because I'll stay away from wind waste, I'm sure that's going to be a popular one. In Precinct 10, we have the new Hillco development, which brought us UPS. My question to the panel would be, is there anything else you expected to see out of that? Are there shortcomings from that? What would you like to see addressed with the new UPS facility in Precinct 10? Thank you, Mark.
Okay, with that done, let's, anybody who wants to speak from Precinct 10, please line up here at the piano.
I need something to stand on because I'm so short. My name is Margaret Berkowitz. I live at 2 Walcott Road. This summer, we had construction workers putting gas lines, I believe. And this is the second time that they wanted to go through my property. And I said, no, you can't do that. And I said, well, it's the only way we can do it. So I now have a 4x4 hole that's in front of my chimney. And on the sidewalks, I have 3 or 4 areas that no longer have grass on them. They said they were gonna come and fix it for us. Well, you know, they haven't come. They put some dirt there, but there's no grass. And I have to pay Stefanos a lot of money, and I just can't keep doing this. Somebody has to step up and take care of these problems. I've got pictures, and Michael's probably looking
Okay.
at them now.
Couple minutes, anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Next, 2 minutes, next speaker.
Hi, my name is Tori Darnell. I live on 9 Allen Place. It's a dead end right off of Chestnut Street by the big, I think it's the East Saugus Methodist Church. So my big concern is living on that corner, so many cars whipping around that from Lincoln onto Winter, onto Chestnut Street, tried to bypass all the traffic that is happening on Lincoln Ave, people crossing through to go to Lynn, which totally understandable. My only concern is I have a son that is playing up and down that dead end street. We're friends with the neighbors across the street. They're Afghanistan refugees. They have 6 kids, and they're always crossing the street trying to hang out with each other and whatnot. I think that intersection there is a nice crosswalk there. If it was raised, I think could help really alleviate the zooming of cars passing through, as well as a street light. Because right there at the crosswalk, there's 0 street light. I also put in a ticket last night because the street light at the top of my street went out and it was flickering last night. So just better visibility so people aren't just running through, because I know throughout this summer, past summer, kids have almost got hit by cars just because of all the rush of people trying to get home to their families or doing their next things. And it could be alleviated for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next speaker. 2 minutes. Issues that concern you in Precinct 10.
My name is Michael Glione. I live at 5 Ballard Street. The problem we have down there in East Saugus is the smell from the pump tank, the sewage pump station, and Wheelabrator, whatever you want to call it, and the truck traffic. We have UPS down there. They were looking to get their bond back for something, but they haven't finished the job. They haven't finished the walkway. I say don't give them back their bond until everything's finished. The truck traffic, like I said, wind jumping up and down, sidewalks that need to be repaired, hot top sidewalks. I'm not talking concrete, hot top, that our own town could be doing this, but we don't have the DPW people to do it. That's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dolores Arlene. I live on Ballard Street. And I've been up to the place up on Main Street, complaining about a tree in the back of my house. My driveway's on Dudley Street. And the tree, the roots from the tree pushing up my driveway. So I can only park sort of like on one side of my driveway. I've been up to, what's the place called? Yes, I've been up there July. I went up there July, August, September. And the girl told me the person was gonna call. I never got a phone call. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point. I went up there again today. I saw a guy named John. And John says, what? Something about a list. This is the first time I heard about a list. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point. And that's all I have to say. That's my concern.
Now, the beauty of these forums, I've had one night when nobody from the town meeting showed up. And I said, that's okay. The angry residents, I said, we got 3 selectmen here with clipboards and they'll write away, and some of the issues were addressed. So we have two selectmen here tonight. Board of Select Vice Chair Deborah Panetta and Mike Serino is sitting in the front here. So if you get a chance after we end here, you might want to grab them and pursue your conversation further, because some of these issues that you mentioned were neighborhood concerns that more related to your own property and not wide scale, and some are wide scale, but I'm keeping score here. But keep that in mind. After this meeting ends, we got to start putting away the chairs, but grab one of the selectmen, and if they don't grab you first. But okay, tonight, this is really great. Again, it's not a debate. It's not a political forum. It's an opportunity for the 5 town meeting members and the 2 challengers to introduce themselves to the audience. And this is being filmed. This will be on Saugus TV, Vimeo, and no set order. I guess I was going to do it alphabetically, but then some people had issues with the seating, so I'll let you sit where the first come, first serve for the seats, and this it is the way it is. The first question, for 2 minutes, I want you to introduce yourselves briefly, give a little background, and we'll go down the line, and I'll, do I have a timekeeper who can keep 2 minutes? Okay, let me, okay.
I would, I don't have my phone.
Okay, the first question, your background, and just a little bit introduction. Just keep it on 2 minutes or less.
Hi, I'm Peter Delios, and I'm a town meeting member of Precinct 10, and I'm running for re-election. I've lived in Saugus my whole life. I'm a business owner here in Saugus. I run 2 successful businesses here. Taxpayer as well. A son who goes through the Saugus school systems. And I look forward to continuing to represent Precinct 10.
Okay, thank you. Our next speaker.
Hi, my name's Steve DiVirgilio, lifelong resident of Saugus since 1982, so pretty much my whole life, 41 years. A product of the Saugus school system of the 1980s and the 1990s. I went to Oaklandville School in the 1980s. I could say it's a fabulous education. Same thing at A.J. Belmonte Middle School. I was not a studious person, not at all. Finished close to last of my class in high school. But I did get a good education. I took a year in accounting. Saugus school system pumped out a lot of good accountants in the 90s. I'm one of them. I'm self-employed. I've been on the finance committee for the town of Saugus since 2013. I've been on town meeting from 2015 or 2019. I ran again last time. I didn't knock on any doors, so I didn't get in. I can tell you the only reason I'm running is because people have asked me, Democrats and Republicans. I'm affiliated with the Republican Party, so I'm here because I've been asked to run. I think anybody who's seen me at town meeting at the podium, if you've ever seen me talk, everybody listens. Everybody, when I talk, people have deer in the headlights because I tell it like it is, and that's a good thing. Same thing on the finance committee, but this has nothing to do with that. Anyway, I live on Pavell Drive. My concerns for the town are, crime, immigration, and whatnot, but I'm here to serve the people. Something else I wanted to say, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Martin Costello. I've been a resident of Precinct 10 now for over 30 years. Where I reside at 18 Bristow Street in that precinct. I'm 74 years old. I've been married to my wife Dorothy for 45 years. We have a daughter Karen, and she's presently working at Harvard University in Cambridge. I am a Vietnam-era veteran, having served honorably in the United States Air Force as an aircraft mechanic. I am now retired and working for 40 years at the John Hancock Insurance Company in Boston. During my time at town meeting, I have advocated for a number of issues facing Precinct 10, chiefly amongst them the definitive need for the closure of the wind waste incinerator over there in Rumney Marsh. There are also other issues in the town that are problematical, such as some properties that have been more or less abandoned and they're languishing, and they are really public safety problems that I've been involved in, and there are still others that have to be dealt with as well. I've also been on the sidewalk commission, so the concept of issues with regard to tree roots and so forth, I'm fully aware of these problems. And on the issue of the charter, which is going to be on the ballot this November, my position on that is that we should remain as a town. I think by remaining as a town, the people of Precinct 10 and the entire Saugus will have their best representation. And so that's my positions, and I hope you will think of me next year in the election. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Darren Ring, 39 Ballard Street. I am a current town meeting member. I've served for about 10 years now. I've worked for the Housing Authority here in Saugus for 24 years. I like talking with people. I like listening to people, which I believe I have. I'm also a constable in the town. There's many other issues that we can talk about after, but I'm just introducing myself, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you. Next speaker, 2 minutes.
Hi, I'm Carla Scazzarella. I live on Carr Road. I'm running for re-election for Precinct 10. I'm a lifelong Saugus resident. I've been in Precinct 10 for 35 years. And I am a Saugus High grad, a Salem State grad, and Boston College. I was married to the late Frank Scazzarella for 39 years. We have 2 wonderful sons and a beautiful daughter-in-law, all live in Saugus, and 2 great-grandchildren. I'm a career educator. I started my teaching career as a history teacher at Saugus High School, and I'm now currently the principal at the vocational school over in Wakefield. I think I'm a good listener and a good advocate for our precinct as well as the town. I'm concerned about everything to do with Saugus, and I hope that we can move forward and continue growing as a community.
Thank you. Next speaker, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Peter Manugian, 50 Ballard Street. I've lived in Saugus, going on 69 years all my life. Lived in East Saugus since 1980, grew up at Hillside Ave, Precinct 6. So 2 homes, but always in Saugus. Someone told me I'll never leave. They're right. But this isn't about me. At first I want to thank, of course, Mark, you've done a fantastic job with the Advocate. I've known you going back 40 years anyways, right? So, and I want to thank Alan, our librarian. You know, his quiet yet effective professionalism has restored this library to something that we're all proud of in this town. And I just want to say that he doesn't look for any acknowledgement, but he deserves it. And I look forward to seeing his budget as a town meeting member. And as long as I'm in town meeting, I'm sure my colleagues, this library will never shut again. The issues that the residents have brought up, Hillco, the gas lines, the Allen Place, I know Allen Place quite well. I know the Waltons that lived over there and so forth. Mike, I always hear from you, and we're on the same page. And the Ballard Street routes and the sidewalk, definitely. What we do as a delegation, we sit. We got together at my house early in the term. We made a list of issues such as this, and we broke it up into. Mark, I think I'm going 30 seconds. Yeah, we listen to you. You need to contact us, and we can't fix the problem if we don't know about it. Our numbers are all in the book. I believe they are. Let us know. All right, we'll get it done for you. We'll bird dog it.
But it's not the sidewalk, it's my driveway.
No interaction between the.
Yeah.
They fixed that though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had called before.
Sir,
They came
sir.
right out. And
Yeah. Okay. We'll take a look at it. What's the address?
65,
Dudley
Ballard.
Ballard. Okay.
It's valid, but
But
65 Ballard.
my driveway's on Dudley.
next speaker, please. If you want to talk after the meeting, we'll have time, but no crosstalk, please, okay? I'm sorry, ma'am. Okay, for the next segment, I keep my eye on the clock here, but I think the most,
Jim.
oh, Jim, I'm sorry,
Hi,
Jim Tozer.
hi, I'm James Toza. I go by Jim. You may see me ride my orange cargo bike because I can't drive. I live in Saugus 64 years. I was brought up on Walnut Street, 123. I now live in Saugus Ave. I played in the Saugus High School band. I was secretary of the band. I was chorus, select chorus. I went to Berkeley, but I never graduated. 1 year going back to college, I'm trying to go back again. I was an EMT until I was 50 years old, then I became disabled because I got hurt in the job. I was president of Bike to the Sea. We had been working to get this rail trail in Saugus. Now it has been 32 years. And it's been a long, hard fight to get the lease signed by the MBTA, and now we look at it. People like to enjoy going to the market basket, I do, and to my doctors in Malden, and people in Malden know me. We now have a bike kitchen where we can get your bicycle fixed in Malden across the CHA Canal Street. My major concern is health issues of the neighbors and the people that live in Precinct 10. 7 people have died on my street with cancer. I myself have a spot in my brain, and they say it doesn't look cancerous. Excuse me. I do get headaches, but they want to touch, yeah, they don't want to touch it yet. I look to see that the ash landfill goes up to 50 feet and make it into a solar farm, and I would like to see the plant torn down and rebuilt. They can have the ash shipped out by train or truck to Ohio landfill. I've been in the State House with different issues. I spoke to Honorable Jessica Giuliano about the House Bill 16, 17, 18. I know there's one more rep that is behind this bill, Turco, which I haven't spoke to yet. The Housing Board, I have helped plenty of residents that live there because I'm on the Housing Board, and I'm running for re-election for that. I find answers for them. Right now, I am working with one of the constituents that probably will be evicted. I'm trying to stop it. I got Rep. Giuliano involved. I tried to contact Rep. Donald Wong, but he wouldn't take my calls or emails about the situation. I realize he's in Asia for 3 weeks. The last board meeting with the housing in Wednesday, I hope to be voted back in. I love helping my constituents and talk to them, checking the Facebook I just found out. And that's about it.
All right,
Thank you.
the next segment, I'm still looking at time, I wanna move it along. The most
Yep.
important question for the people of Precinct 10 is from the perspective of 7 articulate people who wanna be their next town meeting members. You only get 5 seats. So the next segment, 5 minutes tops on what you consider the top issues facing Precinct 10. We've already acknowledged that wind waste is an issue, so no need to discuss that. We want to focus on other issues in the precinct, and there are other issues. So we'll start off.
Some of the big issues I see besides obviously wind waste is we have coastal flooding issues. The coastal flooding issues seem to continue during the winter months and in the rainy seasons, and they continue to plague the streets, Houston, a majority of Precinct 10, from Ballard Street to Houston Ave to Spencer Ave to Harvard Ave and other parts of Precinct 10. I think we need to get back to trying to work with some Army Corps engineers and maybe bring in try to get some flood walls in on the river, try to build up the ecosystem on the river so we can try to get more barrier reefs out on the ocean to try to stop some of this flooding from coming in. I believe also what hurt us back then was taking the sand away. That helped stop some of that flooding. The other issues that we have in Precinct 10, the roads are terrible. Whether you go down Ballard Street, Lincoln Ave, Dudley, Winter, all the way up through Cliftondale, they are terrible. We need them repaved, and the sidewalks are unbearable. I've seen children have to walk out into the street because The sidewalks are just terrible. Other issues in precinct 10 that I find that need to be addressed. Trees, we need more. We need more DPW. We need the trees overhanging the roads are an issue. We've got some old trees that need to be pruned or cut down, and then traffic. Traffic is another issue that continues to plague Ballard Street and then Lincoln Ave as well. And somehow we need to resolve the issue of speed. Speed continues to be a problem on a lot of the main roads, and especially in Precinct 10. Those issues need to be addressed. As far as the Dudley Street gas lines, they've been working on those. But they've left the road again unpaved. That needs to be addressed. The Hillco, again, I'm proud that we got rid of the dump that's down there and we put up a nice building that could, if God forbid there was ever another COVID, could get goods and services faster to East Saugus. Again, the UPS trucks obviously are an issue. They may cause traffic problems, but I believe it's a necessity if we did have another COVID. Without touching upon when, I won't go into that. I have 2 minutes left. Okay. Well, then I'll touch upon what the hard subject. As far as when, I don't want to see 1,000 trucks per day coming in to pick up our trash to deliver it out to Shrewsbury. I think what we need is a new updated facility. I'd like to see them update it to 100%. If they're obviously not going to go away and they continue to burn our trash, well, I'd like to see it updated 100% with a brand new facility. I don't want to see residents paying $12 a bag to $10 to $12 a bag to ship it out to Shrewsbury. I think that is unfair to the residents. I also believe trucks coming through the neighborhoods would cause diesel fuel, which is also unbearable to breathe. I know we talk about an environmental issue of breathing, the quality of air. I want to see the air that we keep. I've served on the wind waste
30
board.
seconds.
I've served on the board, and I believe that on the subcommittee of the Board of Health, and I believe that we need to keep on them to make sure that that the air quality is safe for Precinct 10. Thank you.
Next speaker, Steve DiVirgilio.
All right, so most important things and talk about what's on here. That's what I gotta
You
do.
allowed a cap on 2 minutes on when of your 5 minutes. I have to do that since
Most important thing in precinct 10, the biggest problem is the intelligence of the voters. I interpret that to be it's very low. And my corroboration is you have the most two pro Saugus people in here, Deb Panetta, Mike Serino. How they do.
Whoa. Focus on the issues in precinct 10.
All right, issues.
No political debate, please.
All right.
Use your time wisely.
Sure. Anyway, got my point on that. Issues, I think, number one, traffic. Traffic, it's bad, but I don't think that's a localized problem. When you have this many people moving to the state and immigration, if you've been here long enough, you know the traffic is only getting worse every year. Route 1. I personally don't like leave my house until 7 o'clock because the traffic is so bad. I'm not sure what we can do with that. The pump tank, the sewage, as far as I know, the town is doing a pretty good job of updating equipment. There is a list for that. I'm not saying there's not an issue with smell or whatnot, but I think we may be good on that. One thing I think is a problem too is guys in my neighborhood. I don't know if they're from the neighborhood, or the next town over, with ski masks on and driving on with dirt bikes. I don't think it's safe. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for crime. I'm seeing a lot of that more often. I'm laughing because of what Saugus has turned into over the years from where I live. Coastal flooding. I really can't speak to that. I pay a ridiculous insurance policy for flood insurance that's required.
Speak what you consider top issues. You don't have to respond to
Got
anybody
it.
else.
Top issues.
People want to know where you're coming from.
Top issue for me is crime in the area. When I moved to this side of Saugus 10 years ago, everybody had enough driveway space to park their cars, but now you got like multiple families, more people that live in the house that the house was built for, more cars on the street, more speeding, just more people. More people in general is going to cause problems in general. Other top issues. I get 2 minutes on wind.
2 minutes on wind.
All right, here's the deal with wind. Do you ask anybody who knows anything in the state, that facility's never going away. People in Boston need a place to burn their trash. So if you think that structure is, and I'm very anti-wind, no question. But if you ask anybody who's going to tell you the truth, who really has juice in the state or the community, the facility's never going away because there are too many people that need to have their trash burned. And where are you going to bring it? I think the best thing we can do is to mitigate the pollution, make sure the acid scrubbers are up to date. I'm sure the place is burning all sorts of stuff that they can slip in there. I kind of feel like when it's a cloudy day, more stuff gets burnt. There's more ash coming out. That's my opinion. I do think that whole area, I don't know if it's GE or wind, there's a lot of light pollution. I look out my kitchen window, I see the stack. And it's so bright, it's like, is it daytime out? It's kind of weird. Top issues to me in Saugus, number one right now is to keep Saugus a town. The town has done very well in the last 10 years. I credit to the people who are in control. We need to keep those people in Saugus, running Saugus. If we become a city, and I'm not a student of government.
1 minute left.
Sure. So if we become a city, all that does is bring in more government, more federal money, more state money. And what's happening in Saugus, we have a $100 million budget. I trust the people who manage that budget. And right now, there's other people who want to come in and control in direct monies, direct purchasing, direct contracts. There's a lot of power with that. And that's what we need to be wary of. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Martin Costello. You are
yes.
allowed up to 2 minutes to talk on wind since I opened the door when it first was
Thank you.
trying to be.
Let's take it from the top. On the Hillco facility, I thought that was a plus. As opposed to a dump, which was an eyesore, I thought that was a very good thing. My recollection on that whole issue was that there was some stringent requirements put down there at the time with regard to the trucking. And if that's not being complied with, then we have to go back and address it and make sure that it is complied with. And that had to do primarily with what hours of the day those trucks were allowed to travel over the roads in Saugus. And those are not the large trucks, they're the smaller delivery ones. But if they're not complying, then we have to find out why. There was a gentleman earlier that mentioned that some of the work is still not completed down there. If that hasn't been done, then it needs to be, okay? My understanding was they changed traffic pattern down there, which made it more beneficial. The other thing that really boggles my mind is the perpetual Belden-Bly reconstruction. I don't know when that bridge is ever going to get done. I mean, it seems like it's taking forever. And then with regards to the gas lines on property, I have to plead ignorance on that, especially because I'm not aware of it, but nonetheless, it does sound to me as though there has to be some means by which that could be addressed to the betterment of the resident and to the ability of the gas lines to be run. Traffic. Traffic is bad. There is no question. Now, I've said that we've had debates at town meeting with regard to a town-wide speed limit, which did not get passed. But perhaps we should be looking at some of the areas in the town and incorporating that speed limit there. As for pedestrian crosswalks, I really like those pedestrian crosswalks that have the lights on them. There is probably a definitive ability on our part to put more of them in based on what we're looking at as far as safety for people on the street, especially kids, okay? And so that's, you know, there are things being done now with regard to traffic management that can make things better for people if we incorporate them. I am on the Saugus Sidewalk Committee. I have gone through the entire Precinct 10. I have not completed it as yet. So the issue with regard to tree roots and upheavals, roads, and so I'm fully aware of it. And we have a system in place. There is a list. The town does have it. But it's basically, if you're on the list, it's like when I was working, people wanted to get something fixed, and you would say to them, you're on the list, because there's a whole lot of people in front of you. But the town does have due diligence on this. They are working on this. But bottom line, it all comes down to the money. This thing, it costs money. How much money do we have to do it? I mean, if we had more money, we'd be paving more roads, taking more routes out, and fixing more sidewalks. I wish we could. And then with regards to the flooding, okay. FEMA has expanded the flood maps now every year. I was not in a floodplain when I bought my home. Now I am. 1 year I was told my driveway, then my whole house. So if you're in East Saugus, if you're in Precinct 10, you know what I'm talking about. I wish that the federal government could come up with a much more affordable way for people to have flood insurance, because it does cost a lot of money. But in the interest of trying to do something for Precinct 10, we need to make sure that development in the precinct, that everyone that comes in, new development, ameliorates as much as they can flooding issues. The Saugus Bukieri Park, they put in asphalt, which is porous. The water goes through, all right? And so we don't have ponding. I mean, the drainage and so forth has to be maintained. Everyone is aware of these issues, and we have to stay on that and work towards it. As for wind waste, everyone knows my position on wind waste. I recently testified in Boston about the bill that Representative Giannino put in, and hopefully it gets passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, Darren Ring, 5
Thank you.
minutes. You can
Won't
talk
even-
up to 2 minutes on wind waste, and
Not gonna be that long. I don't wanna keep stepping on, repeating on what everyone else says.
You can address some of the issues raised by the audience, but
Oh, sure, sure.
you should be saying what you want to do.
Wind waste, I've always been no more ash, no more. I live right on Ballard Street, the noise, the lights, just the smell, everything. And we do get it sometimes, but so that's a no for me. No, please, no more. I want to touch base with Ballard Gardens. I think as Mr. Manoogian had spent a lot of time on this, I'd like to see that get completed. I think that would be great for the neighborhood. So that's one of my things. Sidewalks was another one of my things that Martin touched base on. There's a lot of bad sidewalks around. I don't walk as much as I should walk, but yeah, we need to step it up on the sidewalks. So I'm glad Martin is pretty much in control of that. A little bit outside of it is a third fire station. We need a third fire station, which includes the whole town meeting, not just precinct 10. I'm just stretching out here. We need a third fire station. I'm all for that. Traffic lights on 107, I would like to see something done with that. I don't even know who to contact. I'll speak with a couple other people. My wife drives down Ballard Street to buy the UPS all the time, takes a left. They're still not right, so it'll be another thing. Call me. Not many people call me. I want a discussion. Call me. Call me. I'm up for it. People talk my ear off all day long, and I don't get half my work done at work for the housing. As Jim knows, I mean, I'm the maintenance mechanic for the housing authority, and so I don't get half of it because I listen to everybody. I like to listen. I like to be proactive. I want to do something. So please call me. I'm going to touch base a little bit on the charter just for a second. I am not for the charter.
Could you focus on precinct 10?
Okay, so we'll maybe afterwards or with, actually, then that would be it for me then. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's that?
Can he talk about the charter if he's not?
I just,
If
like,
there's more time left. I'm
2
sorry.
sentences, that'll be it.
He's got 2 minutes. He can talk about the charter, please.
Just, if that's okay, just,
Okay,
I am no for the charter. But I changed my mind for the fact of, let's have a discussion. So many people got so many signatures. And some of these people in this room. I am not for it. Let's have a discussion. So I changed I am gonna vote yes for the charter. Just, let's have the discussion. I'm not for it, but again, so many people want the charter. How many thousands of signatures did people get? Right? How many thousands of signatures? Hundreds? Everyone 50? All these people running? So, and again, I'm not for it. But let's have the discussion. Thank you.
All set?
Carlos Gazzarella?
Yeah.
Town meeting member, you have 5 minutes.
All right.
You can try to speak on.
I don't think I have much to add to the Wynn conversation. I live in the precinct,
Yeah.
obviously. It's just an issue, an ongoing issue. I'm hopeful that we'll get to this place where the ash gets a cap on it and that's it. I guess I don't mind that the trash is there. I'd like to see it upgraded. It just, the noise, the smell, everything, and what's already in our soil. And I'm not saying it all came from Wynn, because GE is right there also, and I hear them rev their jet engines. Those go in the middle of the night too. So that's, just put a check next to that one for me. Flooding, same thing. I live close to Bristow Street. Although the new playground, that's not so new anymore over there, doesn't flood anymore, the street still does. When it rains hard and fast, it comes down those hills, and that whole area, you have to go really slowly through there, because of the amount of water. So I'd love to see, at some point, maybe a study done again to see if there's anything else that can be done in that end of town. Those of us that live in the precinct, whether you're over next to the river, near the Lobsterman's Landing and all those side streets over there, or you're down near the marsh, water is an issue. And we all know that. We all live in the precinct. I walk a lot. I walk those sidewalks, I walk on the street, I ride my bike, I love the bike path. The sidewalks are atrocious everywhere in town. Precinct 10, a lot. They're missing, there's bumps, there's everything. It's terrible. And I can't even imagine if you're a little kid trying to ride your bike or walk, it's very unsteady. A lot of those side streets in our precinct don't even have sidewalks. That's another issue that at some point we really have to address. There should be at least one sidewalk on any street. Street lights are out or they flicker in different areas. Another thing that's an issue for me is parking in front of places where there shouldn't be any parking. There's a yellow sidewalk marked there for a purpose on the curb at the Goodfellas at the corner of Bristow and Lincoln, at Kane's Donuts at the corner of that street, and at the other end near Ballard, in front of the playground. People park in front of those yellow curbs all the time. There's no enforcement of that, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to try and pull out onto Lincoln Ave when you can't see what's coming at you from the left, because people don't follow that simple rule. And I wish that there'd be some selective enforcement of that, and especially at the playground. It makes it really difficult for any residents who live in that little area of all those small side streets that go from the Bristow Street playground area. If they're parked on both sides of the street, and believe me, I love that there are kids over there, and there are kids playing basketball, and they've got lacrosse going over there, and all the young ones on the playground, but it's discouraging because we don't have enough parking in that small parking lot, and they do take up the street, and it makes it, one car at a time gets down that street, and it's a major street in the area. It's like going down Ballard, or Seagirt is another one. No sidewalks on Seagirt. So the Ballard Street School property, hope that gets going. We had a great discussion at town meeting, and really want to see something done with that property. The neighbors there are beside themselves with what goes on over there, what they can see happening there, and I know they're very concerned. They wanted to get going and get that building out of there because it just draws problems. And the last thing I think I would say is the snow plowing in Precinct 10 leaves a lot to be desired. There's nowhere to put the snow, I get that, but it's terrible. The streets are already terrible, and then you add the snow plow issue. Sometimes we don't even get snow plowed in our end of town. I'm forever hearing from the people further down, close to the river, that they don't get plows down that far. So those are some of the things I hear from my neighbors and the people in the precinct. Because like I said, I do walk, so I do bump into people frequently, and I want them to be heard. I want their voices to be heard, and I think we worked together quite well, developing issues that we could bring to the town, but we're not done. We have a lot more to do, and I really would like to stay involved and help get those issues to the forefront. Finished early.
Good timing. Peter Manoogian, you have 5 minutes. You have up to 2 minutes on wind waste if you want to talk about that, or any of the other issues that have been discussed.
Yeah, I'll start with the wind waste. I need to correct some misinformation that's been given out here. 1,000 trucks a day, when Wind has said in their own permit to the state, 13 trucks a day. Going through. What's the question?
Oh, okay. You're good, Peter.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Let me start again, please. I want to correct some misinformation that's been given out here tonight, saying that there'd be 1,000 trucks a day if we don't allow that ash landfill to go to 100 feet, as was voted by my colleague at the end of the table. That's not true. Wind has told the state that 13 trucks a day. They've also said that they won't go through Saugus. They'll use state roads, Route 107. The big issue for Precinct 10 is, should we continue with low standards and low expectations, not only for the oldest incinerator in the entire United States, if not the planet, but for our expectations of government and what government should do for us, when it should do it for us, and how it should do for us. There is no question what's taking place now with Wind. They're buying the town. They're buying the rest of the town. They're spreading their money. They're putting their money into this charter process to try to get a government that will sign on the dotted line for them without a town manager that's going to do his due diligence. That's what's going on. They're trying to buy the town, and they're surveying the town now to see how people are going to vote. Low standards, low expectations. There is an answer to flooding. It's called the floodgates. The Army Corps of Engineers came up with this process. It's been authorized by Congress, but it hasn't been funded yet. There is a plan to put floodgates out there, just like they have in New Bedford, that would protect our homes in the event of a flood. In the long run, it's the best way to go. We're going to need it. There's a way to do it if the money is appropriated. There has to be a state share and a town share. We should advocate for that, not only the selectmen, but town meeting and citizens. It's really the citizens. If the people lead, the leaders will follow. There's a great opportunity in East Saugus for the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk is something that has been a grant that the town manager received that's been funded, and it's coming to fruition. It's going to give public access that will connect the bike trail, have the benefit of the wideness of Johnson Street, have a bike lane on the right there, where people can connect the rail trail to Ballard Street, to the waterfront, to I-95. It could, Olmsted had an idea with the Emerald Necklace, what you have with the Breakheart and all of the Fellsway. Well, we have sort of a mini that in Saugus. We can have that. That's a high standard and a high expectation that I have that I would like you to have too. And working together, I'm disappointed that the person from 65 Ballard Street is not aware of how the government works. Many people aren't. We're your town meeting members. We're closest to you. We have meetings. We do send in lists of sidewalks and tree roots, driveway problems, and things of that nature. I have spoken to Brendan about the gas company. What are they putting up for a bond that allows them to get out of Dodge after they do that? I have to tell you, lately I've been disappointed with Public Works. I've heard the story over and over again that no one ever calls you back, that you can't even get anyone on the phone. That's something that's going to be worked on, and when that budget comes up at town meeting next year, I'm going to deal with it then, if they don't deal with it beforehand. We have worked together. The four of us, Martin, Darren, Carla, myself, we worked tirelessly to convince town meeting, don't do to our precinct what you wouldn't want done to yours. And we got shot down. But you know what? If this town meeting changes, and there's 3 people there that I know are good, House Bill 816 that Jessica Giannito put forth that would say, do not tamper with the ashland, the ACEC, keep it at 50 feet. I'm coming back to town meeting.
1 minute left.
Thank you. I'm done.
And our final speaker,
Hi.
Jim Tozer, you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
2 minutes on wind waste.
Yep,
And try to stress issues that you would
exactly. I
consider
will.
important for
Okay.
precinct 10 people.
You're welcome. My name is Jim Tozer, you all know me. About wind. The other night, I think it was 2 weeks ago, everybody heard that boom, right? Nah, I did too, I was sleeping. I thought my water pipe broke. And I was running around the house looking for the water pipe. No water pipe. I went outside and there was a loud noise. I said, this is ridiculous. They don't tell you anything. Now they got the crane over there. And no one told us about what they're doing with the roof. So Rosalie Vincent stated, this is her statement, stated, behind the curtain, okay? There's a man behind the curtain. You remember Wizard of Oz? And you don't know what he does behind that curtain. We don't know what the hell they're doing over there. We don't know. And we know that the water's rising because we have climate change. And the water's, where's this stuff gonna go? My backyard? My granddaughter got sick. She moved to Virginia. And she said, Jim, my health is much better. I moved out of your house and I feel much better. I said, oh, thank you. I said, it gotta be, I can't say it's wind, it could be anything, but it is, we know it's all, because I ride my bike on PJs, and I'll tell you, that smell kills me. I have to wear a mask going there. It's just brutal. About the other issues here, about the pump system, they're always at my house at 12 Saugus. I live at 12 Saugus Ave, and the pump across the street is always being worked on. My wife could tell you. She sees the trucks all the time. It's like every week. Here's the trucks, Sandy. They're working on the slip pipe again. It's like, I don't know what's wrong with that pump system, but I mean, they're always there. 12 Saugus Ave, the Saugus Ave needs to be resurfaced. It really does. It's really bad. They always tar it up with tar and it rips up. I mean, it needs to be resurfaced. We've been complaining about that. My biggest thing is bike lanes. We need bike lanes in Saugus, okay? I ride a bike. And Lincoln Ave has bike lanes from going from Revere all the way to Lynn. They have bike lanes. The other areas don't have bike lanes. So we need more bike lanes, because I'm a cyclist. I used to be former president of Bike to the Sea. The other thing I could say is, I don't know anything about the pipeline. I can't talk about that. But other issues, yeah, there is a lot of issues about flooding in Ballard Street. They always get flooded down there. I am not on I'm supposed to be on a flood zone. I never get flooded. So I don't know where they come up with these flood zone things. FEMA does. And that's about the only issues I have. But wind needs to be capped off at 50. You don't have to truck the stuff out. You could trade it. The trades are right behind the stupid thing.
You've reached your quota and went. Anything else you got?
Well, that'll be it.
Only when they reach their quota on ash.
Exactly. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, I'm gonna allow, anyone from precinct 10, any resident who hasn't spoken yet, to come up and, have a couple of minutes to express their concerns. If there's not, I'm gonna allow, again,
Sure.
introduce yourself, sure. Okay, and
I'm Nancy Prag. I'm at 10 Richard Street, and my big concern is wind. It's been from day one. The noise, the smell, the ash pile. Just worry about our health constantly. So I reached out to several of my fellow people over here that helped me out. I don't know if I can mention names, but
no, just issues.
just issues. But they've always gotten back.
People here.
Yep.
That's the primary purpose of this.
Yep, I've got it. But I feel like I've got some good people that have, taken care of us.
Okay.
That I'm looking for.
Any concerns in the
In the UPS, I think facility too. We've had rats in the area. That's another concern, and that I've brought up. And so I called one of my constituents, and they came around, had the health department check on it, but I've never had them before. I called other neighbors that have had rats recently too. I think it's from just tearing up the, with the gas lines coming in. They've been the whole summer was just filled with them all in different areas, including our yard. So that's my other concern. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who hasn't spoken from precinct 10 who wants 2 minutes to express their concerns to this elite board of citizens?
Can I
People-
speak again? Can I add?
Something new?
Yeah.
Come on up.
So I'm back. So again, my name is Tori. I live on 9 Allen Place. And my main thing is I hear a lot of us talk about concerns and whatnot instead of talk about opportunities. So I feel like in Precinct 10, there's a vast opportunities that we could take. I know Stalker Playground that's near us. Metal slide, not really being done anything. I'm curious to see what other opportunities that people here that live in our precinct, the people that represent us, that we elect, to see what can we do to make Precinct 10 a little bit nicer to walk around, whether it's things that we see, things how we interact with each other. I do think that sidewalks could help in that, because I am a walker, I'm a biker, and you always have to hop back and forth. So I feel like, and also when you think about sidewalks, think about it as a form of accessibility, is that you're not allowing people to move around the town of Saugus. You are relying on people to drive, which connects to the traffic. So if there are more sidewalks, more places for people to see around the precinct, around Saugus, could help alleviate some of those other things that people have, traffic, sidewalk issues. And that's it.
Thank you.
Something to ponder.
Okay. Anybody else? I'm gonna allow, I'm looking at the clock, I'm trying to
we
manage the
respond?
time. I know some people are upset the way it's going, but to be fairness,
The back.
oh. I'm gonna allow the selectmen after the next speaker to respond specifically to some of the concerns if they want to. But nothing on wind. We've heard enough on wind tonight. No. We'll be here all night.
Wait, you just talked for 30 seconds.
It is our precinct, so.
You're taking notes about issues that these people raise. It's more productive to talk about those issues.
You can't say anything about that. 30 seconds.
The only complaint that I have, which is many, but the main one I have is the street. Now, I walk with my walker, because we don't have a sidewalk, down the street, and it's so chopped up that it's really hard to even walk with a walker. It's a simple thing,
Which street?
but yet it's not.
Which street?
We're on Saugus Avenue,
Okay.
and they have not done a thing. They keep telling us they're going to, but as usual, no.
Okay. I got like 5 minutes left before we wrap up. I'm gonna invite the two selectmen to come up, 2 minutes apiece, responding to some of the more personal issues that were not up here. Like there was some. I saw you taking notes when the citizens raised their frustrations. So please just address those and nothing else. Deborah, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Panetta. I live on 1 Bellevue Street. I'm actually in Precinct 5. I want to first thank all 7 of the candidates for town meeting. I've known most of them for decades, and I know many of them have worked tirelessly for not just the people in Precinct 10, but for all of Saugus. And I truly appreciate that, and I want to thank Mark Vogler. I want to address something that was mentioned, coastal flooding. There is a municipality vulnerability assessment preparedness plan. Elle Baker from Revere is coordinating that. She's working with Mary Lester, who is the executive director for the Saugus River Watershed Council. I've been attending all of those meetings. We are concerned about sea level rise. We've seen what it's going to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and it is pretty scary. So we're working with various communities on grants, trying to figure out ways that we can try to alleviate that flooding issue. So I thought that was important to mention. If you have an issue with snow plowing and it's not being done on your streets, please call the DPW. The DPW just hired 2 new people, and we do need to beef up our DPW. They are working tirelessly. They have to deal with 28,000 residents, and they are trying to get everything done. Regarding your issue, if you want to talk to me afterwards, any of the personal issues, we could talk about that. Because that is a DPW issue that we need to discuss a little bit further and see what can be done. You told me I cannot talk about when.
30 seconds.
Okay, traffic. Oh, I do have to say one thing about when.
No.
Well, it wasn't discussed yet. Medical waste and international waste, we're trying to get down to the bottom of that. We don't really understand how that is actually being defined. There is medical waste and international waste going into wind waste. And I won't say anything more, but if anybody wants to talk to me about wind waste, I'd love to talk to them.
Mike Serino?
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and to the people at home. And I know we have, regarding when, I know we have 4 good town meeting members that work hard to stick together down our precinct, and I hope you do support them. Just to address some of the issues regarding the 9 Allen Place, the street light. I'll go down, I'll take a look at that, because what you have to do is get the number off the telephone pole, and then you call DPW, they put it on a list, and usually they're down within a couple weeks changing the bulbs. But I'll take a ride by there tomorrow, take a look at it. Sidewalks are an issue everywhere in town. There's so many sidewalks that need fixing, and you have to balance the needs and how much funds we have to fix it. But I'll take a look at some of the sidewalks that were mentioned tonight. And Ballard School, I know we really do have to move on that project. Ballard Gardens, I'm gonna speak to the manager about that. And coastal flooding, that's an important issue. I know, I believe it was back in the 80s under Dukakis, they had a plan to put a seawall up along Revere Beach, and that just fell through. The Army Corps of Engineers was involved, but that is an important issue for East Saugus residents. And I wish one of my town meet members down there thought about coastal flooding before they approved a 50-foot high ash pile. But other than that, traffic is always an issue. I'll try to get some enforcement down in East Saugus when I speak to the manager. And I believe that was it. Yeah, I believe that was it. Okay, if anybody wants to speak to me after the meeting back here, I'll hang around.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mike. Okay, this concludes our final Saugus over coffee. I gotta get moving pretty soon on the chairs. There's some coffee left. We got 2 selectmen, the residents of Precinct 10 who want to at least tag them and express some concern, talk a little bit about it. You get time. The library closes at 8.
Can I say one more thing?
And I hope that the purpose of this, and we may do it again if there's interest in this next year, the purpose of it is to raise awareness, concerns from Precinct 10 residents, and also an opportunity to get Precinct 10 residents to talk to their representatives. And that's been like a problem during this. We haven't had it's wonderful that we have 7 instead of 5. We've only had a couple of the forums where we had a full house. But it's tonight was difficult for me because I had to try to be fair to everybody, give everybody equal time, and that's why I got a lot of stink eye looks. But it happened in the context of election. I have to be fair, and that's why I had the 2 people sit at the table tonight. In the previous forums, I want to point out that each one I invited during the forum. I said, if there's anybody here who wants to, who's thinking about running for town meeting, you have an opportunity to come up and talk. Nobody took advantage of that. They were.
Mark, I think it's the wrong email addresses as
well. Yep. Okay. I went with the email addresses that were given to me by town clerk's office. So thank you to the candidates and the town meeting members. Thank you, audience, and get out and vote November 7th.
Thank you.